My beloved child, be still for a moment. Let your shoulders fall. Unclench your hands. Take one slow breath and listen beneath the answer you have learned to give so quickly. When someone asks how you are, you smile and say, "I'm fine." You say it before your heart has time to speak. You say it even when you are tired in places sleep cannot reach. But what if you have been asking me to send help while turning it away whenever it comes near? What if the answer did not arrive with thunder, but through an ordinary conversation, a meal offered at the right time, a ride when you had no strength left, an introduction, a listening ear, or a simple question, "Is there anything I can do?" And before you could consider it, fear answered for you, "No, thank you, I can manage. I know how much you have carried. I have seen you care for others while quietly coming apart. I have heard the tears you hid because you did not want anyone to worry. You have minimized your exhaustion, swallowed your needs, and convinced yourself that telling the truth would make the room heavier. You have believed that being loved means being easy to love, asking for little, requiring nothing, and never letting anyone see the weight in your hands. I do not condemn you, beloved. I am not exposing this to shame you. I am showing you where survival has begun to speak for you. I am showing you the defense that once protected your heart but may now be turning provision away. As it is written, bear one another's burdens. Do you see, my child? Community requires someone willing to carry, but it also requires someone humble enough to be carried for a little while. This does not mean that every offer is safe. Not every open hand is honest, and not every act of kindness is free from hidden expectations. I am not asking you to trust without wisdom. I am teaching you to test without automatically rejecting. Wisdom does not accept every hand. Fear refuses every hand. Wisdom pauses, observes, asks, and listens. Fear closes the door before truth can enter the room. So do not rush to say, "I'm fine." Become still. Let the offer pass through the light. The question is not only why help has been absent. The deeper question is why receiving it feels so dangerous. And to understand that, my beloved child, we must return gently to the moments that first taught you to need nothing from anyone. There was a time, my beloved child, when needing less felt safer than asking for more. Perhaps the adults around you were absent, unpredictable, overwhelmed, or carrying wounds of their own. Perhaps you learned that speaking about your pain created tension, that tears were inconvenient, or that vulnerability could be remembered and used against you later. So you became quiet. You watched the room. You learned to solve what you could before anyone noticed there was a problem. You became the strong one. You absorbed the tension others created. You protected people from consequences they did not want to face. You found answers, kept secrets, calmed arguments, and carried responsibilities that were never meant for your young shoulders. And because people praised you for being mature, reliable, and undemanding, you began to believe that your value came from needing nothing. I do not blame you, my child. I know why this armor formed. Then there were moments when you opened your heart and regretted it. Someone offered kindness, but later presented the kindness as a debt. Someone helped you, but then demanded access to places in your life you had never agreed to open. Someone used a gift to purchase your loyalty, your silence, your agreement, or your continued presence. After that, every new offer began to resemble the old wound. You told yourself, other people have real problems. You said, I should be able to manage this. And beneath those sentences was another fear you rarely spoke aloud. If I ask for help, they will see that I am failing. Beloved, listen to me. Being wounded did not make you foolish. Trusting the wrong person did not make your tenderness a defect. And learning to protect yourself did not make you cold. As it is written, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. But guarding your heart is not the same as sealing it shut. The armor served you once. It helped you endure rooms where honesty was unsafe. It helped you keep moving when no one came. It taught you resourcefulness, awareness, and courage. Do not despise the strength you developed there. But do not mistake an adaptation for your identity. You learned self-reliance for protection. You were not created for permanent isolation. You are not weak because you have limits. You are not a burden because you need care. You are not destined to repeat every betrayal merely because betrayal taught you to be careful. I am teaching you a wiser way, a heart that can remain guarded without becoming unreachable, tender without becoming naive, and open without surrendering discernment. The armor was useful in battle, my child, but armor becomes heavy when you wear it into every home, every friendship, every quiet moment, and every offer of kindness. Now that you understand why you put it on, you are ready to see what it has been costing you to never take it off. The cost is not always obvious, my beloved child, because self-reliance can look so much like strength. People see your competence, your preparation, your ability to remain calm when everything is moving, and they call you courageous. But I look beneath the appearance, and I see the fear that whispers, "Nothing can depend on anyone but me." True strength can speak honestly about its limits. Fear insists there must be no limits to reveal. When you do everything alone, you reduce the possibility of being disappointed. No one can change your plan, misunderstand what you need, perform the task differently, or receive credit for helping you. You remain in control of the timing, the outcome, and the story. Control feels safe because it seems to remove uncertainty. But control also prevents anyone from showing you that they can be trustworthy. Do you see, my child? If you never allow another person to carry even a small part of the weight, you will never gather new evidence that some people can remain kind without controlling you, dependable without possessing you, and generous without keeping a secret account of what you owe. I know the exhaustion this creates. You watch every detail, you prepare for every failure, you solve problems before anyone knows they exist. Then resentment begins to grow because no one helps you, even as your mouth continues to say, "No, I have it," whenever someone tries. I do not condemn you. I am showing you the circle so you can step out of it. Perhaps you are thinking, but dependence is dangerous. And yes, unexamined dependence can weaken judgment. It can place too much authority in another person's hands. It can turn support into captivity. I am not leading you there. I am teaching you interdependence. People standing beside one another without ownership, sharing weight without stealing agency, giving freely without creating bondage. As it is written, two are better than one, because when one falls, the other can help them rise. This is not the disappearance of strength. It is strength made communal. Needing support does not erase your competence. Receiving care does not cancel your maturity. Sharing weight does not surrender your dignity. Asking for help does not make you less responsible. Sometimes it is the most responsible truth you can tell. So pause before the next automatic refusal. Ask yourself, does saying no bring genuine peace and freedom, or does it merely preserve the illusion that I can control every outcome? Fear closes every door and calls it discernment. Wisdom examines the door before deciding. And now, beloved, I want to show you what fear may have kept outside, not a dramatic sign, not a perfect rescue, but the quiet, ordinary forms through which an answer to prayer may already be approaching. My beloved child, not every answer enters your life with a sound that makes the whole room stop. Some answers are quiet. They arrive through a person who remembers what you said weeks ago, someone who notices that you are tired, someone who offers a meal, shares useful information, recommends your name, listens without interrupting, or simply remains near when others disappear. You may have been watching for something unmistakable, something so extraordinary that no discernment would be required. Yet while you waited for provision to fall from heaven in a form you could immediately recognize, practical care may have been standing beside you asking, "May I help?" Do not despise the ordinary, beloved. I can work through a human voice and human hands. But remember, human hands remain human. A sincere person may choose awkward words. A caring person may not understand every part of your pain. Someone can offer the right help imperfectly, without the polish or precision you imagined. Imperfection alone does not make kindness counterfeit. Look beyond the clumsy sentence and examine the pattern. Is there respect? Is there patience? Is there room for truth? As it is written, the body is not made of one part, but many. Do you see, my child? One carries today, and another is carried. One speaks while another listens. One gives from abundance, while another receives in a season of need. Then seasons change, strength returns, and the movement of care continues. You have often found your identity in being useful. You know how to advise, repair, organize, comfort, and provide. But when another person tries to do something for you, you feel as though your place in the relationship has disappeared. You confuse receiving with becoming worthless. because you learned to measure your value by what you could contribute. I am teaching you something deeper. Relationship is not a stage on which only one person serves. When you permit a trustworthy person to contribute, you do not become less valuable. You allow the relationship to become mutual. You honor the compassion within them by making room for it to become action. Still, do not romanticize every offer. Gratitude is not blindness. Receiving does not require you to ignore discomfort, silence questions, or place someone beyond examination. What comes with pressure, confusion, secrecy, or hidden demands must be brought into the light. Pause, ask, observe. Practical care can be sacred without making the helper infallible. A person may participate in provision without receiving authority over your life. So receive this truth first. Accepting help is not failure. And now that shame no longer has the final word, I will teach you how to receive without surrendering your voice, your choices, or the responsibility that still belongs to you. Receiving begins with this truth, my beloved child. You may accept help with one real need without handing another person authority over your whole life. Accepting a meal does not grant someone unlimited access to your home, your time, or your private thoughts. Requesting a ride does not transfer your decision-making. Receiving advice does not promise obedience. Allowing someone to assist with one task does not place every other area of your life under their direction. Do you see? Help can have a boundary, care can have a shape, support can be specific. You may accept one part of an offer and decline another. You may ask questions before agreeing. You may say, "Thank you. I need time to think about that." You may receive what is useful, while refusing what does not fit the need. A sincere giver may have feelings about your decision, but true generosity will not punish you for remaining a person with a voice. Before the help begins, bring clarity into the room. Say what you need and what you do not need. Clarify how long the arrangement will last. Decide what information is necessary to share and what remains private. Boundaries stated early are not insults. They protect both people from assumptions, resentment, and confusion. I know that gratitude can make you feel as though you must surrender more than you intended, especially when the helper is older, wealthier, more influential, or confident that they know what is best for you. Their experience may be valuable. Their resources may be real. Their spiritual language may sound certain, but none of these things removes your responsibility to test, pray, ask, and choose. As it is written, test the spirits to see whether they are from God. My child, testing is not dishonor, it is wisdom. Trustworthy assistance strengthens your capacity. It helps you stand more steadily, think more clearly, and make responsible choices. Counterfeit help makes your world smaller. It keeps you confused, dependent, secretive, and afraid that one disagreement will cause everything to be withdrawn. Look at the fruit. Are you becoming more stable or more anxious? More truthful or more guarded? More capable or more dependent on the helper's approval? Is your freedom expanding, or do you feel your voice becoming quieter each day? I do not condemn you for needing support, and I do not ask you to disappear inside another person's generosity. Receive selectively, remain honest, keep your agency. You may open your hands without surrendering your will. You may say yes to care and still say no to control. And now, beloved, we must look even more closely, because the clearest difference between healthy help and counterfeit help is often found in what the giver expects after the gift has entered your hands. My beloved child, listen carefully. Not every hand extended toward you is safe enough to carry your weight. Kind words can awaken relief. Urgent promises can silence questions. Impressive resources can make you feel that you must agree before the opportunity disappears. But discernment does not judge an offer by its first emotional effect. Discernment watches the pattern. Healthy help responds to a need you have actually expressed. It speaks honestly about what it can and cannot provide. It welcomes questions, protects your privacy, respects your refusal, and does not demand ownership of your emotions. It does not need to become the center of your story in order to remain generous. Rescuing is different. Rescuing takes over before asking permission. It solves what you were still capable of learning to solve. It makes choices for you, then calls your resistance ingratitude. The rescuer may need to remain indispensable, because your growing strength feels like the end of their importance. Manipulation is different too. It gives today then produces an invisible contract tomorrow. Suddenly the meal means access. The money means loyalty. The introduction means agreement. The listening ear means affection. The favor means silence. What was presented as a gift becomes evidence that you owe immediate repayment in a currency you never agreed to use. There is also surveillance disguised as concern. Someone may repeatedly demand updates, press for private details, monitor your movements, or insist on knowing more than the help reasonably requires. Beloved, care asks what is necessary. Control gathers information so that it can remain powerful. And beware of spiritual pressure. No one needs to tell you that hesitation proves weak faith, that an immediate response activates my favor, or that money, a public declaration, a click, or a display of loyalty is required before I will care for you. I do not sell my attention through panic. What comes from me can withstand prayer, truth, time, and examination. Slow down. Ask, what exactly is being offered? What will be expected of me? How long will this arrangement last? Request clear terms. Bring the matter before me. Consult someone steady who is not emotionally invested in your answer. Then watch what happens when you establish a boundary. A sincere person may feel disappointed when you say no. Disappointment is human, but punishment, humiliation, withdrawal used as a threat, or spiritual condemnation reveals something deeper. A person who shames you for having limits was not merely offering assistance. They were seeking influence. As it is written, wisdom from above is peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruit. Do you see, my child? Peace is not merely the first rush of relief when someone promises to solve everything. Peace is the growing freedom to remain truthful, responsible, and fully yourself within the relationship. What is healthy can survive clarity. What is generous can survive limits. What is loving does not require captivity to remain. So test the hand before you place weight in it. Welcome sincere support, but refuse hidden debt. Receive compassion, but reject control. And now that you know how to examine an offer, I will teach you how to name your need clearly, so a trustworthy person can understand what you are asking and answer without guessing. My beloved child, when everything feels heavy, do not try to explain the whole weight at once. A life described only as a crisis can feel too large for you to name and too unclear for another person to enter. Become still and ask, what is one pressure that appropriate support could make lighter? Perhaps you need time to rest, transportation to an appointment, food for several days, childcare for an afternoon, information about a decision, professional guidance, companionship during a difficult hour, prayer, or help completing one task you can no longer carry alone. Do not begin with everything. Begin with one real thing. Then choose the person carefully. Do not choose only because someone speaks intensely, makes grand promises, or says they understand you better than everyone else. Look for what has already been demonstrated: reliability, respect for privacy, honesty about limitations, and the ability to hear no without punishment. Look for someone whose generosity has not become leverage against others. Once you have chosen, speak simply. You do not need a perfect speech. State the situation briefly. Name the exact help you are requesting. Define the time, cost, or scope. Then give the other person freedom to answer honestly. You may say, I have an appointment on Thursday, and transportation has become difficult. Could you give me a ride there and back? You may say, I am carrying something painful today. I need listening, not solutions. Do you have 20 minutes to sit with me? You may say, could you help me with this one task? If you cannot do this, I will understand. Do you see, my child? Clarity protects both hearts. It keeps your need from becoming a test the other person does not know they are taking. It keeps resentment from growing because someone failed to guess what you never expressed. Do not apologize for existing. Do not present a long defense proving that you deserve care. Do not make yourself smaller before you ask. And do not hide the request inside vague words, hoping the other person will discover it without your vulnerability. As it is written, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Let your request also be clear. There may be a sincere yes. Receive it carefully. There may be an honest no. Do not turn one person's limitation into a verdict that no one cares. Their time, strength, finances, or responsibilities may simply prevent them from helping in this way. There may also be a conditional offer. I can help, but only on this day, or I can cover part of the cost. Ask questions. Clarify before agreeing. If the answer is yes, define the arrangement. Confirm the timing, each person's responsibility, what remains private, who will cover expenses, and whether repayment is genuinely expected. What is spoken clearly at the beginning is less likely to become hidden debt later. Remember, asking is an invitation, not a demand. You are responsible for telling the truth about your need. You are not responsible for controlling the answer. Receiving either yes or no without surrendering your worth is mature trust. Make one honest request, beloved. Let it be specific. Let it be bounded. Let it leave both people free. Yet even when a trustworthy person says yes, an older voice may rise within you, the voice that wants to cancel, overpay, apologize, and call yourself a burden at the very moment help finally arrives. My beloved child, sometimes the hardest moment is not asking. It is hearing someone say yes. The moment help becomes real, discomfort rises. You want to cancel before they arrive. You explain the need again as though you must prove it was unavoidable. You insist that it is not a big deal, even though it has been exhausting you for weeks. You begin promising repayment before the meal has been delivered, the ride has begun, or the conversation has taken place. Then shame tries to turn gratitude into self-rejection. You say, I am so difficult. You call yourself useless, pathetic, undeserving, or more trouble than you are worth, hoping that diminishing yourself will reassure the person helping you. Beloved, do not injure yourself in order to say thank you. I do not ask you to deny the value of what you receive. I am teaching you a cleaner posture. Acknowledge the gift. Name its impact. Say, thank you. This makes today lighter. Say, your help gives me room to rest. Say, I appreciate what you have done. Then honor whatever agreement was clearly made without inventing a larger debt. Gratitude is not submission. Appreciation does not require permanent availability, agreement on unrelated matters, or silence when something later concerns you. A sincere thank you does not hand another person authority over your future choices. There will be unequal seasons, my child. At times, someone will give more because they presently have more strength, time, knowledge, or resources. You may be unable to return the same kind of help or the same amount immediately. This does not automatically make the relationship unjust. As it is written, each should use whatever gift they have received to serve others. Do you see? Care moves through a community in many forms and across many seasons. Today, someone may carry groceries to your door. Tomorrow, you may offer wisdom to a person in confusion. Later, you may encourage someone who is losing hope, complete meaningful work, and give generously when capacity returns, or help a stranger who can never repay you. Reciprocity is larger than a transaction. Do not make dramatic promises because shame demands immediate balance. Overpromising may create new exhaustion, hidden resentment, and obligations no one asked you to assume. Let your gratitude be truthful, not theatrical. Receive what is clean. Honor what was agreed. Refuse what was never part of the gift. Let gratitude remain gratitude. Say thank you without humiliation. Receive without disappearing. Allow kindness to reach you without rushing to prove that you deserved it. I know this may still feel dangerous, especially if someone once used your gratitude as a chain. I do not condemn your caution, but you do not have to choose between closing your heart forever and opening it without wisdom. There is another way, beloved. You can learn to trust slowly. My beloved child, I know why trust feels dangerous. Someone once called their involvement kindness, but what they wanted was influence. They helped, then asked for information that was not theirs to possess. They gave, then expected loyalty without question. They stood near your weakness, not only to support you, but to gain emotional access you had never freely offered. So now, when another person reaches toward you, the old wound speaks first. It says, this will happen again. The gift will become leverage. The care will become control. I do not condemn your caution, beloved, but healing does not require naivete, and wisdom does not require permanent isolation. You may trust gradually. Begin with a small request, not your entire life. Share only the information necessary for that request. State one clear boundary. Then allow time to reveal what emotion cannot. Do not build trust upon dramatic declarations, sudden intensity, or someone claiming that your connection is uniquely destined. Excitement can feel like confirmation, while telling you very little about character. Watch the pattern. Do they remain consistent when there is nothing to gain? Do they respect your privacy when curiosity is strong? Can they receive your no without changing their kindness into punishment? As it is written, you will recognize them by their fruit. Do you see, my child? Fruit appears over time. If hidden conditions emerge, return to what was agreed. Say, that was not part of our arrangement. Say, I appreciate what you offered, but I cannot agree to this new demand. Reduce access if pressure continues. Seek the perspective of someone steady and uninvolved. Do not remain inside a pressured argument, trying to prove that your boundary is reasonable. You are not required to choose between bitterness and unrestricted access. You may forgive and remain cautious. You may feel compassion and maintain distance. You may release hatred without restoring the same level of trust. These truths can stand together. What happened to you was painful, but it does not have to become a sentence against every person you meet. Let the history train your judgment without appointing it judge over every new heart. I am not asking you to forget the wound. I am teaching you to use what you learned, without allowing fear to decide everything in advance. Think of your heart as a guarded door, beloved. A guarded door is not a sealed wall. It opens by choice. It closes when necessary. It allows access in measured ways, and it remains under your stewardship. You do not have to remove the door from its hinges to prove that you are healed. Open slowly. Observe carefully. Stay near me. And now, gather everything you have heard into one immediate act of trust, one person, one need, one honest request, and a prayer that will teach your heart to exchange the identity of burden for the truth of belonging. My beloved child, return now to the question with which we began. How many times have you prayed for help and then answered every caring voice with, "I'm fine"? You do not have to hide behind those words anymore, but neither must you accept every offer because you are tired, frightened, or desperate for relief. There is a wiser path. Needing help is not failure. Discernment is not rejection. Boundaries are not ingratitude. Receiving does not erase your strength. So, take one small step. Write down one real need, not every pressure, not your entire story, just one burden that could become lighter. Write the name of one person whose character has shown patience, reliability, honesty, and respect. Then write one specific request you can make within the next day. One person, one need, one honest request. Now identify the sentence shame usually speaks when help appears. Perhaps it says, "I am too much." Perhaps it says, "I should manage alone," or, "If they see my need, they will love me less." Bring that sentence into my light and replace it with truth. I have dignity even when I have limits. I belong even when I need care. I can receive help without surrendering myself. And now, beloved, pray. Father, I release the role of always being the rescuer. I release the fear that I am expensive to love. I release the need to repay every kindness immediately, and the belief that vulnerability must always lead to control. Give me wisdom to recognize generosity that is honest and clean. Give me courage to refuse manipulation, pressure, and hidden demands. Give me humility to receive appropriate care and patience to rebuild trust slowly. Teach me to speak clearly, to honor my boundaries, and to remain open without becoming naive. Lead me toward people with whom care can move freely, truthfully, and peacefully. Amen. Now hear me, my child. You are not loved merely because you are useful. Your worth does not rise when you solve every problem, and it does not fall when your strength reaches its limit. You do not become a burden by telling the truth about being human. As it is written, bear one another's burdens. Sometimes you will carry, sometimes you will be carried. Both can belong to a faithful life. Pause before you answer automatically. Return to me. Test the relationship in the light. Make the honest request. Receive what is clean, refuse what controls, and let gratitude remain free. Walk forward in peace, my beloved child. You are not a burden. You belong.